You can get it. Marvelous.
Yo, what's good? Welcome back to the channel, y'all. And look, in today's video we got some crazy meta shifts in the OP08.5 sim meta, y'all. This is crazy. Y'all saw the thumbnail, y'all saw who was on the thumbnail. We have some crazy meta shifts we about to go over, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight into it. But before we start, what I need to tell you guys is probably the most important thing I'm gonna tell you guys is happy Halloween. Happy Halloween, happy Halloween, everybody. Hey, look, if you guys go out, make sure you stay safe. Okay, go out with a friend. Don't be going out by yourself. Don't chase a half-naked bitch that's out. She's not for you. She's for the streets. Fact, not an opinion. And yeah, just stay safe, y'all. Just stay safe. Let's go ahead and get straight to the video, gang. Let's get it. So before we start, I got two things I need to broadcast to the streets right now. And the first thing is directly towards the sim team. The sim team, I don't know who's responsible for publishing these deck lists that you have, but every time you publish these deck lists, there are spaces in between each code that you guys see on the screen. And when you guys do that, that means these codes that you guys are suggesting, these deck lists you guys are suggesting, nobody used because the damn shit don't work. That shit be irking me, gang, for real. Stop adding fucking spaces to all these deck lists. I have no clue what you guys are doing. You guys make the sim but don't know how to put a proper deck list or full of deck codes to use in the sim. Stop putting the spaces. You're making it 10 times harder for people to use these suggested decks that you guys are using in your weekly power rankings. That's the first thing. So the 10th best deck of the format is Ploofy. So Ploofy, I gotta keep it a stack of you guys. Ploofy, look, I don't mind Ploofy being the 10th best deck. In my last video, a lot of people were upset saying, well, why is Ploofy so high? Why is Ploofy so high? You know, I thought we got better when it comes to ST, you know, the structure decks. Look, y'all, I don't mind Ploofy being the 10th best deck of the format, because once OP09 comes around with the support it's getting, this becomes the second best deck in the format, hands down. Okay, so Ploofy being at number 10 is a-okay. Ploofy has played 4,716 matches, 2,190 wins, 2,526 losses, sitting at a 46.9% win rate. So it does have a negative win rate, but you know, it is what it is, bro. Like I said, I don't mind this deck being 10th because it gets a huge power boost at OP09. Let's go over the cards here real quick to see if anything is a little bit different. The card I really want to talk about is this Bon Clay. A lot of people have been asking me, is there a way to replace this card because the base version of this card is $40? The short answer is no. If you guys want to be as competitive as possible, like going to the, I don't know, San Diego regionals this week, you need this card. It's $40 for one. So for a playset, you're looking to pay $160, and that's for the base rarity version. This is the higher rarity version you guys see on the screen. This is the base rarity version. You're pretty much going to have to spend $160. $160 for this Bon Clay. There's no way around it. Very good board removal, and it just acquires some type of big body for you as well without actually investing a lot of Don. So you can't really go wrong without this Bon Clay. It's expensive. You can't really, there's really no replacement. So if you can't get it, then I don't know what to tell you, y'all. But just looking at the list, the big things I see change is they're actually opting out to go for 4 Lin. Like I said earlier, when the sim team initially had this deck playing like 1 to 2 Lin, I told you that was wrong, and now they actually upped it up to 4 because Flacco was right. Of course, fact, not an opinion. We're always right over here. I'm just saying, we're not always right. I'm not perfect, but 4 Lin is definitely what you should be running in this deck. Just being able to replenish lives just so you can keep on recycling your leader ability for some Don ramp is crazy. I also feel like this is probably the best ramping deck in the game at the moment as well, which says something to this purple Luffy's power before OP09. We have this Kaido end out gains. We have this Luffy just be able to cheat out a character from your hand. We have the Searcher. This is also one of the most essential cards in the deck. Every time you attack, especially if you put 1 Don on this character, the Sanjiro, it allows you to draw a card. Just being able to add cards to your hand one of the best cards in the whole entire deck as well, in my opinion. Being able to close out games with this Usopp. And also, this is a different card I see a couple of Purple Luffy players playing, is this card. Just being able to always attack at 9k on play, and also while attacking is very, very shiced as well. You can't go wrong with this type of card, bro. Always attacking at 9. I feel like 9 is always like a staple when you're really just trying to end games. Okay, so when we're looking at everything else, Luffy, look, I don't mind it being the 10th best deck, y'all. I truly don't. So let's go ahead and get straight to the next deck. So the 9th best deck of the format of the weekly power rankings on the sim has to be Katakuri. Katakuri has fallen from grace. Last week was number 3, but I think last week was almost kind of like a pre-ranking. Like it was like a week before. Like it wasn't initially out, and it came out only 3 or 4 days testing. So this is more of a proper, you know, sample size of time to really test out this deck. And Katakuri's 9th. I'm not surprised. YGOD, Yellow Gang or Die, YGOD. You guys already know how we getting down. But you know, when we initially looked at the list last week, I felt like 3 is a little high. 9's probably exactly where Katakuri needs to be. When we take a look at this list, it almost kind of looks identical to the last list I went over for last week for Katakuri. There's really no difference. You're still having the Big Mom to close out games, probably one of the most crazy crack boss monsters in any deck. The only thing I see difference is that they actually added this Monkey D. Luffy for some board removal, okay? And the main reason why they added this for board removal is just because for the Dofi matchup. Dofi is still running rampant all over the place. This adds another form of board removal. It's the reason why they're running the Onami and also the Nami for board removal. Just having some, you know, some trigger happy cards such as this Kiku and also the Capone with a 2k counter and out of life is actually crazy, just stopping your opponent from attacking. So it's pretty good, y'all. Pretty good. Having the best event as well. And honestly, just looking at this whole entire list, it almost kind of looks the same. They did add the flame split. You still have the brand new card from the structure deck as well. The only thing I'll probably add to this deck, yeah, I'm not a Katakuri main. You guys can let me know below you know, how true this is, or maybe it doesn't work for your deck. But I honestly feel like Katakuri should be running Hiyori. You guys have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You have 12 triggers. So if you guys are running that many triggers, I feel like you guys should be having some type of light manipulation to where you guys can just stack your life at, you know, at a whim whenever you want. If you guys don't know what card I'm talking about, is this card right here. I feel like this card should probably be ran at 3 and into 2k as well. So maybe that's just the option. I don't know how this will possibly fit in this deck, but just looking at all these triggers, I feel like minimum should probably at least be running 2. Okay, so Katakuri showing up at 9th place, not surprised. Katakuri has played 1,764 matches, 839 losses, 839 wins, 925 losses, sitting at a 47.6% win rate. So a negative win rate, but like I said, I feel like this is exactly where Katakuri needs to be honest with you. But yeah, this is pretty much Katakuri. 9th best deck. I feel like it's always been the 9th best deck. It's just, I don't know. We didn't have a proper sample size last week, so, you know, it is what it is. Katakuri 9th best deck of the week. Let's go ahead and get straight to the next deck. So the 8th best deck of the format has to be Smoker. Woo, we got some new motherfuckers, bro. We got some new motherfuckers in the top 10. Okay, I've been telling you guys Smoker could be a sleeper, and Smoker kind of reminds me of a Black Luffy. Okay, you know, the ST14 Monkey D Luffy, Black Luffy. As long as there's black in the meta, Smoker will be a very good option. Okay, Smoker has played 1,090 matches, won 542 times with 548 losses, sitting at a 49.7% win rate. Now when we're ever at a 49.7 or anything higher than a 49.5, I pretty much round this up to a 50% win rate. So Smoker has a 50% win rate at the moment, and you guys are probably wondering why, especially for all my new players, because you guys haven't probably ever seen this deck at all. This is probably your first time you guys ever seen this deck, and this leader came out in the 2nd set ever in this game's history. You guys can take a glance at everything on the screen. Everything is pretty much the same when we come to black cards with the Brook, you know, the Borsellino, Sabo, Rebecca, Gecko, Jack. Only thing that's really truly different in this deck is this card right here, Sengaku. Just being able to have some draw, filling up your trash, adds a huge consistency factor for this deck. Very strong card. Sengoku pretty much pushing Smoker to being meta meta relevant at this point. Another card that's actually pushed this deck to the next level is this card right here, is with this Tashigi. This is probably the glue of this deck. The reason why this deck is doing so good in a black dominated meta at the moment is because this bypasses the Sabo blanket protection. Okay, as long as Sabo has this blanket protection and a lot of people are playing black, Tashigi is just gonna come over here and fuck everybody's bitch. That's just exactly what's gonna happen. You guys are probably wondering why. You guys see it on the screen. It doesn't remove cards from the field when this card is actually summoned or on activate main or on her activate main. Okay, it trashes. So it pretty much bypasses any blanket KO protection effects such as Sabo and just sends the card to the grave slash trash. So very, very good card. This is the reason why Smoker is actually viable at the moment. And I'm not, look, I like seeing brand new black decks in the meta. I don't always want to see fucking Lucci. Lucci's on this list. I'm probably gonna go over it probably for 30 seconds because we went over it so many times. But besides that, that's the only thing that's probably different in this black particular list is this Tashigi, and we're also opting out for the Sabo. Sabo is also a really good tech, but if you're running the Sabo, I think the 9-drop Kaido might be a little bit better because it just trashes your opponent's characters as well, and it's activate main. Okay, so, or I think it's on play. I'm not really too sure. We'll get to it later. But I feel like the 9-drop Kaido is probably a better card to use than Sabo in my opinion. But yeah, Smoker coming up in the 8th place, taking Reiju's spot, 50% win rate, and yeah, that's all I got for Smoker. Let's go ahead and get straight to the next deck. So the 7th best deck of the format has to be
12 seconds later. A few minutes later. 6.5 hours later.
And that was the 7th best deck profile. Okay, great profile from this Nami player in the sim team. If you guys are trying to get a 15-minute nap like me, very, very good. If you're trying to get a power nap, if you're having a long day. Nami, we're sitting at 1,279 matches, 653 wins, 626 losses, sitting at a 51.1% win rate, positive win rate. Nami, good job. So let's get straight into the next best deck of the week for our weekly power rankings on the sim. So the 6th best deck of the format has to be BY Luffy. Okay, I'm actually very happy that BY Luffy was not about to be knocked out of the top 10 power rankings, to be honest with you guys. Last week we had a negative win percentage, but right now we have played 3,205 matches, 1,648 wins, 1,557 losses, sitting at a 51.4% win rate. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm just happy we're not at 10th. Okay, I was sweating tears at the moment last week. I was like, oh shit, we about to get replaced. We just got replaced. Oh my god, we're fucking a top 20 deck. That can't be. I was about to be upset, but we are now sitting comfortably at the 6th best rank, and I'm completely fine with it. When we look at the Sims deck list so far, it actually looks pretty trash per usual. He's running an extra brick of Kuzan. Why are you running 3 Kuzan? I feel like you need to be running 2. I don't know why you're not running 2. I mean, every top player in the East is running 2. Some of the topping decks now are running 2. I don't know why you're running 3 threes a brick. I also don't know why you're running 3 Monkey D Luffys. This is your main source of board removal and you're only running 3 of them. I know you got the finger gun, but late game finger gun sucks because you can't cycle it with the leader ability. Okay, so don't know why you're running not finger gun. I don't know why you're running 3 Monkey D Luffys. Very confusing in my opinion. Don't know why. This is your main source of board removal. You always want to run 4. He is opting out for the finger gun with 2 events. They did get this right. I feel like running 4 events could be a brick late game. He is also running the 10 counter, the 10 2Ks as well because of Dofi with ending the game of Perfume Fumer, and also the finger gun. So for this finger gun, you guys can really use anything. I'll show you guys some options here. So for the finger gun, if you guys don't want to run finger gun, you guys could run, actually I just did the fucking wrong thing, hold up. There's a couple of other options for this card. So here are a couple options if you guys don't want to run finger gun. You guys could use run Thunderbolt. This is good for board removal. You could use Flame Split. Could use this right here. or you could use the 5-drop Sabo as well. Sabo right here. So this is just really a flex bot. I already told you guys what a flex box is, so you know, you guys can really just substitute that with any of those 3 cards. If you guys want to see my personal list, this is my personal list right now. I'm running the 4 Luffys. I am just running the Ivankov because it's another way to really just abuse the Hiyori effect, in my opinion. Very good, especially since a lot of people starve us now. We are running the 2 Kuzans right here. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Running the 4 Luffys because you have to. Ivan and the Kuzan. I feel like running a whole bunch of board removal is good, but I'd rather just go for the Ivankov because early game, especially if I'm going first, if I summon the Ivankov turn 3 and then I bring out a Sabo, now everything's protected and this is going to stay on the field probably until the end of the game. So this is my personal list. If you guys do want to use it, go ahead and, you know, use that. You guys can use this all the way up to OP09, but if you guys do want to opt out for the Sims you know, personal list, you guys could use this. I'm just not a fan of running an extra brick and less board removal. I just don't understand it. But yeah, BY Luffy sitting at 6th place, and let's go ahead and get straight to the next deck, y'all. So the 5th best deck of the format has to be ST14 Luffy. Okay, ST14 Luffy is 5th place, sitting at 711 matches, 367 wins, 344 losses. I'm gonna be honest with you, they have the lowest amount of games played out of any other deck on here. So, you know, I'm not gonna really take this deck too serious. I just think that the people playing this deck are the best people playing this deck, and that's the reason why they're winning. So, you know, nonetheless, it is the 5th best deck. Let's go over it real quick. So this almost looks like the same exact list that we usually go over for this ST14. Only couple of changes I've noticed is they are actually running the Laboon, dropping down the 4 costs. We're actually also running the Shirahoshi. I don't know why they're running the Shirahoshi and the Laboon, and they're actually not even running the Nico Robin. Okay, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, the main thing that this deck really struggles with is cost reduction. That's the reason why they're running 4 Kuzan and also 4 Ice Aces. This deck has a hard time with cost reduction. So if you guys are playing this deck, I feel like this card right here needs to always be rated at 3 in this deck. Yeah, the Laboon and then in this Shirahoshi is cool, but I feel like you can't replace this card. You can't replace it. Okay, so that's just my opinion, but besides that, everything else kind of looks the same. He's running the 1 Borsellino. It's kind of random. You could just cut 1 just for 1 Nico right here, kind of random running this, and running the 2 Issue for some, you know, big bodies on the field, excluding Gecko. Okay, but besides that, everything else is kind of the same. You guys know what Jack, Brooks, Sabo, everybody else does. So yeah, this is pretty much the 5th best deck of the weekly power rankings for the sim. Let's go ahead and get into the 4th best deck of the week. So the 4th best deck of the weekly power rankings for the sim, y'all gonna be surprised what this is. This is actually Doflamingo. Yes, I'm actually surprised myself. It's at 4th, but I think the reason why it's at 4th is because it has the most matches played at 10,152 matches played. Y'all are OD playing this fucking deck, and I feel like that's the only reason why it's sitting at 4th is because it has so many games played. It's kind of, it might be messing up the statistics a little bit. 10,000 matches is only the 2nd week. 10,000 matches is actually insane. It has 5,374 wins, 4,778 losses, sitting at a 52.9% win rate. I gotta keep it a stack with you guys. If you guys do want a full breakdown of what this deck does, card at the top, thumb down on the screen, I teach you guys how to even play against this deck, what cards to look out for. I'm not going to really go over this deck too much because the list is damn near almost the same compared to my video as well. But when we just look at everything is pretty much the same. The only thing that's different is that they opted to go out for 4 pudding. Now, and I'm actually not even surprised they're running 4 because pudding can literally just end games. Most decks want to have a lot of cards in hand, and this pretty much just fucks their bitch. Okay, this is probably one of the most shystiest cards in the whole entire deck of Dofi. I know that's really rich coming from me just because we have all these other cards like this Law, just being able to do the Jinbei Law combo is very crazy as well, or the Gecko Jinbei combo is also pretty brazy as well. But all in all, very cookie cutter list. Spam the board, flood the board with a whole bunch of monsters in the game by dropping a pudding and going into Perfume Femur. Out of all the cards I think that should be removed from this deck is this card, because I feel like this should have been a red card, to be honest with you guys. I don't think this should have been a blue card. This is more of a red card, to be honest with you, kind of like a gold D Roger. But yeah, Dofi surprises at the 4th rank, to be honest with you guys. And yeah, let's go ahead and get straight to the next deck. So the 3rd best deck of the format so far has to be Bonnie. And this is the thing about Bonnie. Bonnie is a solid deck, okay? I feel like it's always going to be a top 5 deck. I always tell you guys it's always going to be a top 5 deck just because it's, you know, green's getting better. I know a lot of people dog on green. Green is shit, but green, mainly just this deck is really, really good at the moment. Bonnie has played 3,117 matches. It's won 1,677 wins, 1,440 losses, sitting at a 53.8% win rate. Very good win rate. You guys are probably wondering why this deck is so good. It just has a lot of good options at the moment. I mean, we have the 8-cost kid. Pretty much no other character can attack anything else except for this kid. And being at an 8K body is very, very strong, really high. Having the best block in the games, pretty much if it gets removed, you get the rest of character. Ending out games with Hody Jones. This is a tech card I see a lot of people playing in this particular body list at the moment. This card pretty much cleans up board just because it has a double attack, and this is actually really good into Dofi due to this card. So, you know, very good tech. Another tech people are still starting to run is that they are cutting the Zoro and they're replacing it with this Doflamingo. Very good option. The thing about this whole entire leader in general is that you want to play the game how you want to play it, okay? You pretty much say fuck what the opponent's doing. You're gonna play how I want you to play, and if you don't, you're going to lose. This is exactly why right here is due to this 10-drop Doflamingo. You're probably going to be seeing this a lot in the San Diego regionals this weekend. There's only a couple of cards I'm going to talk about. Is this carrot. I see a lot more people playing this carrot. Initially, the sim didn't even have this card in the deck list. The sim didn't even have this card at 3 at one point. Now everybody's on the carrot train. I've been telling you guys for a minute, carrot always needs to be ran at 4. Just being able to have a blanket effect with no Dawn investment while attacking, resting at 7 costs or lower is actually crazy. Very crazy, and that's the reason why it's ran at 4. A lot of people are now, you know, waking up, becoming higher level thinkers and using the 4 carrot. And the last thing I'm gonna talk to you guys about is this Cavendish. Cavendish is a problematic card right now. This is a $20 card for you guys right now, okay? For all my Bonnie players, I'll talk to mainly all my green players. You guys need to pick up the Cavendish right now. I'm not a financial advisor, but the yellow-green law just got some crazy support in OP10. OP08.5 comes out next month. If you guys do not pick up this Cavendish right now, and that new leader, that new law leader that's coming out, OP08.5, uses Cavendish, which he does, this could be the next $40 card from EB01. So I'm telling you right now, if you guys do want to play green, mainly Bonnie, and you don't have your Cavendishes, you better pick that shit up at $20 because there's no reprint announced or anything right now, and yellow-green law looks like it's about to be a menace to OP10. So if that's what's going to happen, pick them up now before they become the next $40 card. Besides that, this green deck is pretty much all the same. The only thing I don't see ran is Shanks. Let me know why they're not, this particular deck isn't running the 9-drop Shanks from the starter deck. And yeah, other than that, Bonnie's doing Bonnie things. Let's go ahead and get to the second best deck of the format. So the second best deck of the format is Lucci. Yeah, I know. Yeah, we're tired of talking about Lucci. It just won Bandai's biggest event already in the East. Yeah, I know. So since we've gone over this deck so much, bro, let's just go over the stats real quick. Lucci's played 4,757 matches. It's won 2,612 times with 2,145 losses, sitting at a 54.9% win rate. A second best deck, I'm starting to think just Rob Lucci's always just going to be a second best deck of the format. It was second best last week. I feel like there's always going to be another deck that has a higher win percentage, okay? Lucci, we already been over Lucci. The only thing that's different about Lucci in this list are these two cards. Kaiku, a lot of people are going to be playing this card a little bit more just because it has some more board removal and it's searchable. That's another reason why this card is searchable, just kind of like how this Lucci is searchable, but this card is searchable. Really good for some type of board removal. Put 1 Dawn on it, attacking at 7, and it also has a 1K counter. But the main tech I see a lot of people running is this Kaido I spoke about earlier in the video. This card bypasses all of blanket protection. So if once you summon this, you could trash your Sabo or anything that's KO protection. I told you, trashing cards instead of popping them, like KOing them, is the meta. This Kaido is the reason why this deck is probably going to always be good. Okay, this Kaido, a lot of people are starting to catch on to the trashing abilities out there in the streets at the moment. And this Kaido pretty much does that. Okay, very good boss monster, 9k power, 9 drop, trashes everything on the field, and it's an activate main as well, so you can literally just keep on activating this every single turn. And besides that, everything else is the same. You got the Gecko, you got the Jack, you got the Kuzan, Brook. I mean, everything else is kind of much the same. So yeah, Lucci, hope you guys like it. Second best deck of the format. Let's go ahead and get straight into the best deck of the format, which I'm actually really looking forward to, y'all. So the best deck in the format, y'all seen it on the screen, has to be Enel. What?
Nani?
What? What the hell? Enel? Enel is the best deck in the format. No fucking way. Enel's the best deck in the format. This is actually insane. With all these black decks, Enel is the best deck of the format. YGOD, Yellow Gaga Die, YGOD. Shout out to all my delinquents. Honestly can't believe Enel is the best deck. This is actually insane. Enel has played 1,927 matches with 1,078 wins, 849 losses, sitting at a 55.9% win rate. I cannot believe Enel is fucking everybody's bitch. Enel's out here taking all the Halloween bitches dressed up like a cat. They dressed up like Carrot, fucking all the hoes. What the hell is going on? Enel? Let's go over this deck list real quick. Okay, we went over this deck list because this has to be the most cookie cutter deck list that's ever seen the light of day. Okay, everything else on this deck is pretty much cookie cutter. But what I didn't feature last time is my personal list. I've been having a lot of people tell me in my Discord that they're taking my personal list and spinning the block. This is my first list I'm going to show you. This is the mid game. You know, I want to aggro early to mid game and not wait till late game to drop your boss monsters. This is my personal Enel list that I will personally run. The main difference with this list is that you are abusing this cracker. The gist of this deck is that you always want to mulligan for this cracker. People are going to ask how come you're running 4, because 4 can end up being a grit. Because people are going to ask how come you're running 4. If that's the case, you always want to see it because I don't want to brick on it late game. The gist of this deck is to get this cracker out early game and try to drop the tsunami attack with a banish at 9k, just due to off of cracker's effect. Also, we have the ace to close out games. You're also running these 2 Luffys for board removal, and the big thing I'm also running is the 3 Hiyori, because if we just take a gander here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 triggers in this deck, so we can have a lot of, you know, life manipulation, mainly for this cracker or for this Anami for some board removal to get rid of Doflamingo or just to end games fast. This is my personalized list. If I was to run Enel, I play tested with this deck probably over 1,000 hours, so this is definitely the list you probably should run if you are running Enel. If you guys aren't a fan of really just abusing the board, rushing down the board early game, and you're just one of those, you know, Saki type of players, just want to sit there and just drop big characters, here's another good, you know, type of list for you. This is really just a trigger happy type of build, and also waiting until late game just to drop your boss monsters. The main difference with this deck is really running the 4 Flampy, the 4 Frankie. We aren't running the Hioris because we aren't really, you know, abusing life like that. We are opting out for the 4 Monkey D Luffys and the 4 Namis. Before we had 2-2 split. We're running the 3 and 3. 4 of these Regu might be a little too much, and we are also opting out for the Sinel. A lot of times when you drop the Sinel, it's very hard for the opponent to get rid of this card, so very good option. But yeah, these are my 2 builds that I would initially go for if you guys are trying to play Enel. This is the more, you know, I want to bring out the big body type of deck, you know, type of, you know, build if you guys do want to run it. And if you guys just want something like early game, you're attacking, you're not just sitting there till late game, this is my personalized build that I spent over 1,000 hours playing with on the channel. Okay, majority of my channel was Enel. I initially started on BY Luffy, realized I was getting my ass cooked because the deck was too hard, had no clue how to play the deck, so I went to this, and this pretty much taught me how to play the game. So if you guys are new, you guys can try out this deck. This is my personalized 2 list. If you guys do want to use the Sims list, Actually, just don't use the sim list. Don't use the sim. It looks like they just copied it off of somebody off of Twitter. Just go ahead and use one of these 2 lists. Okay, so yeah, that's all I got. Enel, #1 deck of the format right now. Actually incredible, actually insane. Hey, look, I hope you guys enjoyed this meta breakdown. Actually insane, but this is how you guys know this is a balanced meta. Very balanced meta at this moment. We do have a lot of black shit inside of this meta, but you know, just to see Enel #1 beating out all the black decks, and black's supposed to be its hardest matchup, is actually crazy. Hey, look, that's all I got. But look, before I go, if you was feeling the vibes, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And gone.